Hey, Tony Gasser here, popping in for a quick video. Now, tonight we have a call at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you happen to miss it, it will be recorded. It is for the Growth Club, which is our monthly group coaching situation that I started back up this year. So, starting this month, February, it's the end of February. Y'all gotta forgive me. Computer got this here thing on. Let me quit that. End of February. How do I do that? And we will have a session each month, like a session with myself, and then we'll have bonus sessions. So it'll be way more value than actually what you are signed up for. And we'll cover all kind of topics. So got coaches right now thinking up their topics, submitting their topics, and then I will announce those calls in addition to my monthly group coaching. And this is something just for like-minded individuals to come together, connect, share tips, tools, get a message, ask questions, get answers from myself and other coaches and other participants in the group, something of that nature, and just be able to benefit and help each other and not just go through what you're going through, but be able to learn from what other people are going through. But in this topic here, I want to talk about how to leave a toxic relationship. Now, it's very important that we define what a toxic relationship is. And when you think about this, I want you to think about it like real toxins. So toxins in the body or toxins in the water, toxins in anything, what does it do? It pollutes it, and it slowly but surely destroys it. So a toxic relationship means that it is destroying you, that it is slowly taking your life away. A toxic relationship is not something where you aren't happy because you are depending on someone else to make you happy. A toxic relationship isn't a relationship where your friend has something that you don't have. A toxic relationship isn't something where your partner doesn't meet your preferences, meaning height, weight, age, numbers, income level. That's not a toxic relationship. A toxic relationship is slowly killing you. It is breaking you down mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and there's just a lot of actions and things being said and done that is eating away at you day by day. That's a toxic relationship. Something that at the end, you're not going to be yourself. You're not going to recognize yourself. You're going to end up feeling like taking yourself or taking them. It's going to get there to that point. And we speaking in code, of course, understanding because we're on somebody else's network. So understand that. Now, as you think about this, you got to take these steps and get your notebook and write this down and then expound upon it yourself. If you're working with a professional, I just got done working with clients today and going through what they're going through. If you're working with a professional, and you can bounce some of these things, get some ideas. One thing that has to be understood is when you take my tips and things like that to another professional, they may or may not agree, just because every one of us, we speak from where we are. There's not a one size fits all, and even therapists who have treatment plans sometimes step outside of that with the hopes that the client isn't going to tell on them and get them audited. And a therapist, counselor, coach could be having a bad day going through their own relationships. I have a lot of clients that are psychotherapists, therapists, psychologists, counselor, all of the terms, and I'm helping them through their relationship situation. So understand that is just how it works. Now, on the other side of this, you got to take your time and go through step by step. And step number one, when you're in a toxic relationship, you want to sidestep the power struggle. Now, this is a term and a lesson from behavioral science. When you're dealing with someone who is exhibiting maladaptive behaviors, you will sidestep the power struggle, because a lot of times what happens is when you're in a toxic relationship, we have these power struggles where somebody's trying to get their way. And when someone's trying to get their way, or they're trying to be toxic, or they're trying to be in a bad mood, if you sit and you just butt heads like rams, then you're feeding into it. But when you sidestep the power struggle, what this means is you're not arguing back. You're not fussing back. If they're pointing the finger, you're not pointing the finger back. You're getting quiet, meaning you step back, you be quiet, and you get distance, meaning you are minding your business, you're doing your thing, and you are intentionally avoiding conflict. You're intentionally avoiding this power struggle. And you have to do that so things can simmer down. But at the same time, what you have to understand is that when you do that, it can make it worse. It can make it worse. And this is where understanding what toxicity is. Because sometimes people say, oh, the relationship is toxic because there's somebody in it who has an issue with something and really wants to talk about that issue. And if you are non-confrontational, then it will feel like it's toxic because it's releasing stress hormones, stress chemicals into your bloodstream, because having a confrontation, having tough conversation is hard for you because it's outside of your personality type. But if it's a legitimate conversation and it's something that is warranted and needs to be discussed according to what your heart truly knows, and maybe what your professional help is telling you, or even a trusted friend or family member is telling you, then now you have to understand that you just have an avoidant personality type, and you're trying to avoid confrontation because you don't enjoy looking in the mirror and confronting yourself. So running from a conversation that needs to be had is not the same thing as sidestepping a power struggle. Sidestepping a power struggle is when you refuse to argue about something that is futile and minuscule, or just something that's plucked out of thin air just to have something to argue about. And even if your partner is arguing about that, you're not going to flip it on them and then point the finger at them. You're going to, okay, all right, and go on about your business. And a lot of times when we are arguing with ourselves, it makes us feel stupid. And I've been in that place before in relationships where I'm arguing with myself, and it makes us feel stupid. And then if the person isn't really a toxic person, it's just they having a rough day or they're going through a little season, then they kind of look themselves in the mirror, or they hit the head on the wall, and they're like, okay, you know what? I need to come to my senses because I'm trying to get something started and he or she refuses to let me get this started. So let me shut it down right now. So in this, you are sidestepping, which means you're getting quiet and you're getting distance. And as you do this, you should see a shift in his or her personality. Now, if they ramp up and they get a little more crunk, then that's when you understand their personality style. And that's when you have to confront them head on. And we're not talking about a fight. We're talking about using your words and speaking up for yourself as an adult, or if you're not an adult, you're speaking up for yourself and you're speaking truth to power, meaning you're telling them exactly what it is. And you're like, hey, listen, I have not done anything to you. I have not tried you. I have not disrespected you, but you find something every single day to complain about, to argue about, and you're taking your childhood trauma out on me. And that is not fair to me because I'm trying to live my life in peace and happiness and prosperity. And you're coming every day and you're treating me like an unpaid therapist. And that is not my role in your life. You need to get professional help. And so now, if you know the person that you're dealing with is not a violent person, it's not somebody that when you get real with them and you're direct with them, they're not just going to haul off and punch you in the mouth or, bust your nose or something like that, then that's when you got to confront it directly. Now, again, this is general. We only talk about two different types here. We put in this black and white, and there are gray areas. So if you have it in your bank account or on a credit card or whatever, get professional help to discuss your situation specifically. So many people come to me and say, oh, well, you said this in your video, so I did this. And I'm like, listen, whoa, your situation is not what I was talking about on that video. Thank God you're on the phone with me right now, because that is not the same kind of situation now. But that's what happens so often. People just assume every single video is talking directly to them, when you got to understand, I don't know you and I don't know your situation. So we're speaking in generality. And if you're fortunate enough that your relationship is general and it fits inside of this, then great. If you try this and it works, then great. But that may not be the case, and you got to be real about it if you know that this is a different type of situation. So think about that, and as you're processing that, really be real with yourself on that. Somehow I look like some gnat or something got in here and flying around. The next thing you want to do when you're trying to leave a toxic relationship, step number 2, is create an exit strategy if you have time. Now, understand, if toxic means physical, you don't have time for an exit strategy. Your exit strategy is to get to the nearest friend or family member's house, nearest shelter, nearest hotel if you got the money for it, nearest something, or first and last month's rent, new apartment. Even if you just got to get an air mattress just to get in there, right away, then boom, you gone. If that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. Understand that you don't have time for an exit strategy. Now, if you have time, meaning that you're not in physical danger, there's no bodily harm being done, it could be stressful and a high tense situation. But if you know that you're living and breathing and you feel you're going to be able to live and breathe, and you have a little runway to pick up some speed before you can, take off, before you have to launch, then you do that and you create an exit strategy. Now, again, this is something you may need to work with a professional on to create this exit strategy, because in some scenarios, let's say you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, that means getting a job. And a lot of times when you get a job, a person that you're with can't stop you from working, but it can send a message. And sometimes that message that you getting a job sends can already take them off of that, that kick that they're on of the toxicity. Because it's like, whoa, hold on now, you about to get empowered. You about to go get your own, like you about to go make money for what you need money for. So that can have somebody pump their brakes, and it may not. They may be like, finally gonna work. Okay, good, finally gonna work. And then, okay, now you working, or you could work from home. And you could work from home if they're at work, then you work from home. If you already have a job, then now it's about changing your spending habits and putting up a savings. If you already have a savings, or you have a credit card that is empty, or you got room on it for like something like first and last month's rent, then you already ready to go. You ready to go. But what I mean by exit strategies, for some people, it's typically finances that's holding them back, and they have to get that in order before they can leave. Now, this ties into step number 3, which is find an ally. And what I mean by finding an ally is, let's say you don't have the finances and you don't have the ability to get a job for whatever reason, or whatever kind of work you can do is just not going to do anything financially, really not going to pay anything. This is where an ally can come in, where an ally may have somewhere, meaning a friend or a family member, somewhere for you to stay. And if this ally has to be a coworker, if you know you got a coworker and you've been talking to this coworker, and if you're a woman and this is a woman, and she's not into women, she's not gonna be trying to hit on you or take advantage of you while you're down and out and vulnerable. And this woman, y'all platonic friends, and she has a house and she has extra bedrooms, and y'all are cool, and you don't have any friends or family like that, or any family that you can go to. This could be that ally. And the role of the ally is to help you come up with an exit strategy. They may even loan you the money to move out first and last month's rent. That may mean while your person is at work, they send the truck over, the U-Haul truck, the moving company, to get your stuff and take you to an apartment or bring you to their place. And typically there's somebody like this. If not, then that's when the finances come in place and you get in your own place. And if you can't get your own place, then doing something with Airbnb, maybe even writing into Airbnb through the support and saying, hey, do you have any homes that people will give a normal rate or a discounted rate for those who are escaping toxic situations? Or you can just write the host of a place that already has an inexpensive cost and say, hey, listen, I know you're in this to make money, but I'm escaping a toxic relationship and I just need a little bit of time. And I want to know, can you work with me? If they say no, go to the next person. And as you're praying for grace, mercy, favor, something to work out, somebody's going to say, hey, you know what? I got you. I got you, because I have 3, 4, 5 of these. I really don't need this income right now. I got other ones that are doing good. So I'm actually going to spot you, and I'll give you a week free, 2 weeks free, month free, or give you half off or 60 or 80% off. You'll find a blessing in there. Don't be afraid to ask. That's one of the things, the mistakes that people make. And this also goes for men too, because men could be in this situation too. Don't just think this is just for women. And so now you're creating this exit strategy, and you have your ally. So you find your ally, and the role of the ally is to help you leave, help you heal, and hold you accountable. And what I mean by that is, this is somebody that you're talking to, and you have to make sure you're getting healthy feedback. I mean, that the person you're talking to, that they're not talking to you from a place that is jaded or, just skewed. You want to make sure that they are relatively healed and healthy, because you don't want the insight and advice you're getting to be detrimental, nor do you want somebody who's playing on you and who's trying you, because you could be in a situation where you got a nice savings and then somebody's taking advantage of you because they know you're desperate, and they're like, oh yeah, you come stay with me, but I have to charge you $1,500 a month just because of my expenses, and they paying $1,200 a month, or they paying $1,500 a month, and now they got you paying a whole rent or mortgage just because they see you're desperate. So you have to use discernment, which is not always easy when you're in a place to where you're feeling broken, but use discernment. And then also too, don't be afraid to reach out to professionals through social media if you can't afford to pay them, and ask, can them or someone in their network sponsor a session to give you some insight, and do that. And that, now listen, only do this if you absolutely cannot afford it. You don't have a dime. Don't ask somebody to work just because you have this, a begging spirit, because you don't want that to come back on you. So be mindful of that when you're thinking about this, and move with some integrity here. Now, the fourth step is to get professional help. Now, step number 3 is find an ally, and that could be professional help, but typically that's a friend or a family member that you're talking to. They're giving you advice, they're supporting you, they may loan you the money that you need, or they may help you move. They holding you accountable, and they're making sure that you're doing what you need to do, which is like step 4, getting professional help. So with this professional help, you're talking to the professional every single week. And this is what your ally, your accountability partner, is making sure of. They're making sure that you're talking to the professional every single week. Because when you're in a toxic relationship, you can develop, a Stockholm syndrome, to where you become codependent, and you really don't see the you blame yourself, and you have sympathy for this person, and after being away from the person, and you've left, and now you're away from the person, you can start to miss him or her, because that arguing and that bickering and the toxicity, your brain started to make it mean that you're loved and that you're appreciated or you're cared for or that they care. And now, not having someone yelling at you or cursing at you or talking down to you, you could feel lonely, and you could feel worthless, and you could feel like no one cares for you. So your mind will start to play tricks on you. And then also the person that you've left may start to play mental tricks on you, and being amazing through text message or voice memo or voicemail, or sending messages through other people. And they're so nice and kind and sweet and patient and positive. And you're like, whoa, what's going on? Like, did this person bump into Tony Gaskins videos on YouTube? Did they go on TonyGaskinsAcademy.com because they heard me talking about it, and now they didn't sign up for some courses? Are they doing sessions because they're actually saying some of the same stuff that I've heard coaches say? Whoa, what's going on now? And that can happen as well. So you have to be mindful of that. And that leads us to step number 5, which is do not look back. Don't look back. So again, this applies if you have left a toxic relationship and it has been toxic for some time, and you've defined it as toxic, like it killing you. It was really doing you in and costing you, and you ready to lose it or just give up on life and stuff and things, and it's really messing you up. So that's what I mean by this. Now, if nothing was happening like that and that wasn't the case, then this is different. This don't look back is different. If you left something prematurely, or you left something that wasn't actually toxic, you just left it because you realized you were unhappy because you were expecting them to make you happy, and you put the responsibility of your happiness on someone else, and nothing they did was good enough for you because you just weren't happy within yourself. Now you come to that realization, then this is different. But if you know you left a situation that was doing you in, that was taking everything from you, that was just so bad, and there really was no good in it, or the days that were good, they pale in comparison to the days that were bad. So that's why on this 5th step, you do not look back. Meaning, you left after trying and trying and trying. You left after giving a chance and another chance and another chance. You left after getting coaching or counseling, or trying to get coaching or counseling. Like, you exhausted all options. You did everything you could think of, everything that was suggested to you, and it still was not changing. The relationship still was toxic. So now you cannot look back because you gave your all. You should not move in regret. You cannot feel sorry for yourself and beat up on yourself and blame yourself, because you put your best foot forward and you gave everything that you could give, and yet you were mistreated, you were taken advantage of, you were taken for granted. And now that you've moved on, now the person, he or she, wants you back, but they really want you back because you are his or her punching bag, whether that's verbal, physical, emotional, spiritual, financial, social, whatever it may be. You were their punching bag, and without having you, now they're just punching the air, and that feels very draining and futile and just worthless. And they're like, no, okay, I need a person here so that they can absorb these blows, whether it's financial or verbal or what have you, so that they can absorb this, so I can feel like I'm getting something off my chest and I'm getting this off of me, versus it just going into the air and then coming back at me tenfold. And so that's what they start to go through. And you got to understand that. So those are your 5 steps. And it can be that simple or it can be that hard. It just depends on the complexity of your relationship and what you're going through. So Lord willing, if my sessions are still open when you see this, reach out to me. I'll put or my email through my site, support@tonygaskins.com, or if you go on my Instagram, if you go over there, make sure you hit the follow button. But if you go on there, you'll see it says email on my bio, and you can send an email and it'll come on in, and then you can sign up for a session. We could talk through it to just kind of really see where you're at and come up with your exit strategy if that's something that you're ready to do and you need to do. But if you cannot work with a professional, myself or anyone else, then listen to this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times and pray for wisdom, understanding, knowledge, and then see how this can or cannot apply to your situation, and take what you can from this to implement in your situation to help you get some clarity around your relationship and help you build the strength to walk away if that's what you need to do. So, hey, it's Tony Gaskins. Now, if you happen to see this in time, we are working tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. And look, call tonight's our first one, so it'll be kind of an overview as well as a lesson. We're talking about self-care, but we're really trying to build this group coaching up, because once I build a group coaching up, I'm going to limit my one-on-one sessions just to those who are in the group. And then the one-on-one sessions will be much, much cheaper because they will be offset by the group coaching. And so that way it'll be more affordable versus me not having a group coaching and then working with people one-on-one. So once I build this group coaching up, that'll be the only way you can have a one-on-one session, is to be a part of the Growth Club. And for those who want to teach part lessons to the Growth Club, then you need to be a certified life coach through my program, or a member in the Growth Club itself and already have some type of training, certification in coaching, or be a counselor or a therapist or what have you, clinician, professional, pastor, something of that sort. And then we will have people from within the group teach on topics and lessons that they are very, very comfortable and familiar with, and have dedicated their lives to helping in that area. And of course, it won't be anything sacrilegious or anything that's out of the box. It'll be, things that can help you, and also things that are in niche markets, things that is, information that is not just everywhere or given out all the time. So we'll have broad topics and we'll have very narrowed specific topics. So, hey, this is Tony Gaskins. God bless you. Look forward to working with you in the Growth Club, and we'll talk soon. Oh, March, that's my youngest son's birthday, March 6th. My birthday, March 8th. And then my wedding anniversary, marriage anniversary, is March 30th. So March, we getting ready. That's coming tomorrow. March 1st is this big little month. So Lord willing, I'll get a video up every day. But we'll see. God bless you. Talk soon. You know what? We done came this here far. We might as well cross 30 minutes. If you got to this point, put Tony, I made it. Now, ideally, I want to get to a point where these will be an hour long. These teachings will be an hour long, but I'm tired in my body today, and I got to go to soccer practice. I need to leave here in less than 10 minutes, take my son to soccer practice. So I'm taking him to soccer practice so my wife can be here with our youngest to put him down to bed, because they got a bedtime routine. So she could put him down to bed by 8 o'clock. So I'm going to take my son at 7 to practice, get him there 7:30, and then I'm gonna shoot right back home to be home by 8 o'clock. I gotta stop by my office and lock it up. Be home by 8 o'clock, and then classes at 9. But then my wife will leave at 8 to go be there to pick up my oldest at 9. Just sharing y'all a little behind the scenes of how we have to make this thing work when I'm serving the people. But hey, God bless you. Link in the description for the Growth Club. We'll talk soon.